That's a good
Yeah.
one.
I fall to pieces. You sound just like her, right?
Oh my gosh, she's here.
She's here.
I like somebody roll over the cat's tail.
Hey, see what I put up with. This is why Cash left.
All right, and here we go. It is time for another episode of Cash's Top 5, although don't know why I'm calling it that because today is not a top 5. We have a very special episode for the podcast today. I have the morning show of the country station in Indianapolis. Jim, Deb, and Kevin, what is going on, guys? How you doing?
Cash.
Good.
Cash Rooney again. Yeah.
Rooney.
You didn't mention that
The
used to be our
Cashmeister.
coworker too. Yeah.
Yeah, former
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
still, he's still employed.
Yeah, he was
He
a
didn't wanna-
producer for a while.
Doesn't work with the morning show anymore. He upgraded.
Hey guys, have you noticed that everybody who's ever worked with us has always advanced to greater and bigger things?
Well,
Everybody.
yeah,
Just one of
they
them, too.
leave. There's a running
Yeah.
theme. They leave.
Even
Yeah.
the maintenance department goes further.
They go into management and everything else. And then we're like, okay, we're still here 30 years later. We're still here.
Well, and I think that is a very positive thing. I think that says a lot about you guys because not everybody
But
goes
then
on
we can't
to
be promoted?
bigger and better things.
Yeah, thanks, Cash.
Today, like I said, we are not ranking a top 5. We are actually going to be doing something a little more fun, given your background and my background, a little less than yours. But in country music, we are going to be putting on 4 fictional festivals, complete with title sponsors, and we're going to be drafting a fantasy draft of our 7 acts that are going to take the stage for our festivals. This should be a lot of fun. We all have our favorites. We have, artists that we just enjoy their tunes a little more, or maybe it's a little fun out on the road. You got some fun beer drinkers with you, or, whatever your decision-making process is. I'm looking forward to hearing who you guys have. Jim, before we started, and we were talking about this, asked if we needed to do, is this dead or alive? So I'm a little curious to see how far back in the country catalog we're going to go.
Wow.
So what we're going to do though is we're going to do more current acts for our festival, and then at the end, when we all have our official lineup, we're all going to pick a legend spot. So a country legend who's no longer with us, but we'll be there in spirit. Maybe we'll play a few of their songs just for fun. So we did the draft order before we started. Picking in the 1 spot, kicking it all off will be Kevin Freeman.
Yep.
In the 2 spot, drafting second will be Jim Denny. And in third will be yours truly. So sorry, Deb, but you do get to pick twice in a row.
Okay.
Deb at number 4.
I can do that.
All right. So you guys good? Ready to roll?
That's
Yeah.
good.
Good.
All right, Kev, you are up first with the
Well,
fantasy draft. Who is on your tour?
Well, first of all, I should mention my tour is sponsored by Tractor Supply because,
Of course.
as I say, if you can't get it there, you don't need it.
Shocker.
So it'll be the Tractor Supply Country Music Festival. And how could you have a festival if it's going to be the festival among all festivals and not have my number 1 pick, Garth Brooks? 22. I think I looked it up. 22 Academy of Country Music Awards and a member of the Country Music Hall of Fame. You got to go with Garth Brooks. That's my number 1 pick.
That's a pretty good pick. I had
Good
that
choice.
one written down. I didn't think.
I think everybody had it on their list. They didn't know when they were going to get it.
Yeah.
Jim's real
My
upset.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Jim has Garth ready to go.
I could have used that too. I could have used
Yeah.
that because what I want to welcome to for all of you, ladies and gentlemen, you want to be there when the lights go out
Oh, here
for
we
the
go.
Franzia Wine Hats and
geez.
Hair Tour, the spirit of the 90s.
What was the hair tour? The what?
The hats and hair.
Hats and
Hats and
hair.
hair
It's
tour.
just the spirit of the 90s. We're all going to wear the belt buckles and the hats, and we're going to go out there with that great
Oh.
music from the country 90s. And who would be the headliner except the king himself, George Strait?
Oh, that's a good one.
Who I think did Tractor Supply commercials at one
He
time.
did.
So maybe
Hold
they
on.
did.
He just called. He's a go.
Wow, 2 legends off the bat. We have Garth at number 1 with Kev. We have King George Strait. Jim, I'm curious to see how this is going to balance out. Deb, I've got the pick before you, so I'm trying to think of who I should take that would really upset you and make you happy. Who would be
Oh,
your
thank
number 1? My pick at 3. I don't really have a fancy name for the Cash Festival, but it is sponsored by Fandango because I like going to watch movies in the theater. So
And it's fun to say Fandango.
Fandango, yeah.
You could
Yeah.
screw that up, actually. Move on.
The fan banjo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doing some bluegrass. Mine is not a legend in the vein of Garth or George Strait yet, but I believe he will get there. My number 1 pick, who a lot of people might mistake as my cousin, the bearded one, the amazing one, Luke Combs is my
Oh man,
Luke
my festival,
Combs.
for
he's on
sure.
my list.
Oh man, you got a draw right there already.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
It's a great one.
Well, good. You didn't pick mine.
Mhm.
Well, I was hoping that wouldn't be too big of a pick for you.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
now
I love
you get,
Luke. I love Luke Combs, but yeah, that's not my pick.
You get back to back. So
Okay.
do we have a title sponsor for the festival? I think
We
it'd be
do.
nice.
It's a Deborah Honeycutt tour sponsored by Lockmasters because someone's going to lock their keys in their car or maybe lose them. Actually, the slogan is if your keys get lost, we're cheap on cost.
Oh, I like that.
Oh my.
Let me know if anybody wants to do an endorsement.
Uh-huh.
So my headliner,
plenty.
this is a headliner and it's someone I've seen in concert several times. And I love this show because it's one hit after another. So many hits. I don't think that this person sings all of their songs. You might leave a little disappointed because they have so many, but it would be Kenny Chesney.
Mm,
Kenny.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Man, I got to do some scratching here.
yeah.
Yeah. Kenny Chesney. All right. Chesney. Sorry.
Mhm.
Yeah, Chesney. I say it incorrectly.
So we've got
Okay.
one who you got at number 2. We're going back through the order.
Yep.
Oh, you want me again? That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Okay, this would be another one that's like being invited to a party. Because when I was younger, I didn't get invited to a lot of parties. I was little backwards, believe it or not, read romance novels in 8th grade and stayed at home a lot. So this is like going to a nonstop party and it would be Luke Bryan.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Nice. So you got the Luke's working there.
Yeah, both of those have been mentioned now.
Mhm.
Kenny Chesney and Luke Bryan back to back. That's like, so far your party is
Got the Luke's everywhere.
pretty jamming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any Luke's left?
Nope. Nope. They're gone.
No more Lukes.
Yeah.
Okay, back to me. I was wondering if this one would go in the first round, but we'll see kind of how it shakes out. So part of my picks are people that I really enjoy their music and enjoy their tunes, but also this is a festival, so that means they have to hang out with me.
Uh-huh.
So my number 2
no.
pick after Luke Combs is the Carrie Underwood.
Yeah, I
is
didn't.
my
I
second.
figured
Oh,
that'd
so
be.
you picked for selfish reasons.
I love Carrie's catalog. I celebrate all her tunes. She's got some great songs, but I also want butts in the seats. So if I've got a bill of Luke Combs and Carrie Underwood, I'm doing
That's gonna
pretty
sell
good.
some tickets. Yeah.
Yeah, and I get to hang out with them. Like, yeah, done deal.
Mhm.
All right, Jim.
I'm
George
actually-
Strait at
okay.
number 1. Who do
All
you
right,
got number
George
2?
Strait at number 1. It's the hats and hair tour, the spirit of the 90s. Who else but Alan Jackson?
Ooh, that's a good
AJ,
one.
all right.
Hit after hit after hit. Alan Jackson just stands there with a guitar, and that's all he needs to do.
You got 2 guys that stand there with their guitars, George Strait and Alan
And
Jackson.
that's all they
You
need.
get them a very tiny stage because they don't move.
We're going to do it in the
I was gonna
round,
say-
by the way. Did I tell you that? We're going to do it in the round.
In the round. So
Mhm.
Jim's stage versus Deb's stage right now are
Yeah.
very different shows.
Oh,
You've
very.
got hopping
Yeah.
around, and there's maybe even like a little bit of a mosh pit down by the stage, and then you've got very polite strumming on the 90s, the hats and hair tour. I love that.
Hats and hair tour.
Well, you don't want to mess up the hair. That's what it is.
Mhm.
Can't
So,
sweat too much.
Jim, are you going to venture out of the 90s at all, or can we expect mostly 90s?
Well,
picks the rest of the way?
We have some that actually slipped into the 2000s.
Okay.
But,
I was just
yeah,
curious.
you-
It's fine if you
you-
do. I
you-
wasn't
you-
sure.
I just want to warn you, some of my later picks may be a 90s star just to mess you up.
I have 60 of them here right now.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right, Kev, back to you. You had Garth at number 1. Who's your second
Ed
pick?
Garth is a great entertainer. He is obviously a crowd pleaser. And my number 2 pick is another one that fits that description. Keith Urban, underrated as a guitar player. I think he's
No.
one of the best guitar players around. Ton of hits. And as you mentioned, if we're going to hang backstage with some of these, he's a fun one to hang backstage with. So my number 2 pick is Keith Urban.
Keith Urban.
You took
wow.
that from me.
Yep. Yep. And if you're ready for my number 3, I'll give it to you.
Oh yeah, we're ready.
Okay. Number 3, because if this is my festival, it means my family will want to go, and that means my wife's going to want to go. And if we have a festival that I'm putting together, I have to put Tim Mcgraw on the list, or she will be very upset with me.
You just blasted a big hole in Jim's 90s.
I sure did. I sure did. So my number 3 pick for my festival will be Tim Mcgraw.
Got it.
Wow, you managed to snake Deb's pick and Jim's pick. I feel like both of you were going to pick those guys next. Am I right?
Yeah, I had Keith next.
Yeah. Not anymore. He's
No,
coming to
no.
my show.
Oh, this is fun. All right. Jim Mcgraw, what do we got next?
Well, okay, I got some here. If we're going to do the 90s, the Hats and Hair Tour, the spirit of the 90s, sponsored by Franzia Wine. Try the Merlot. It's on sale at CVS.
All right, move on.
It would have to be Shania Twain.
Oh, that's a
yeah.
good one.
Shania Twain. She had so many hits, and she does run around on stage. She'll break up that little monotony, if you want to call it, of George Strait and Alan Jackson. And she also looks kind of good.
Yeah, but fun fact, Jim, will you share the story that when we had the first chance to interview Shania Twain, you passed up on her? Because first of all, you didn't know who she was, couldn't pronounce her last name. And then you later found, Shania. I said first name, I'm sorry. And then later found out what she was. And you're like, oh, well, I'd like to talk to her now.
Yeah, I thought it was a group. You know, Shania, what's Shania? Man, we're getting ready to unplug and head out of here. What's the Shania group? Yeah, we made up after that many times.
Oh, okay, good to know.
Oh, please.
She's had a pretty big resurgence lately. She's been out dancing and singing
Vegas.
with Harry Styles.
Harry
doing the Vegas
Styles, that was
residency.
very cool.
Yeah.
All that.
I always thought it was weird because her husband at that time was named Mutt and her dog was named Bob.
Yeah. didn't make any
It's
sense,
weird.
did it?
Yeah.
That's just stupid.
It's true story though. It's, all
Maybe
right.
the Mutt part.
I got Shania.
Shania Twain.
I was recently visiting some family, and they had one of the music channels on their cable. They had Shania's Vegas show, and we had it on. And so I looked up that CD. Someone was like, "Come on Over" was like a monster.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, albums come out, and there's 2, 3, 4 singles from that album before the artist moves on to the next one. You guys know how the industry works. It was like 11 or 12 singles off the one album. Like it was just hit after hit. Like, unreal. So,
Wow.
Well, you're going to enjoy her on the Hats and Hair Tour.
Definitely the hair. She's got it. Yeah.
I think Harry Styles' outfit looked better than hers the other night. Didn't you see that? He's getting glitzy with the
Shots
sequins.
fired.
No, I love Shania, but I'm just saying
She could wear
he
anything.
kind of showed her up a little bit. Yeah.
All right, guys. I had Luke Combs with my number 1 pick, Carrie Underwood with my 2 pick. Very, very happy I got them. For my number 3, I'm a little conflicted because I've got a couple of core favorites of mine, but I got to think about the overall atmosphere of the show. And so I'm going to, because Luke has some slow stuff, but he also has some beer drinking stuff.
Yeah.
Carrie is kind of the same, like the slower stuff, but also I'm going to key your car and, beat you up kind of stuff.
It's healthy.
I love music. And so I'm going to go with probably one of the best guitarists I've ever seen live. And that's Chris Stapleton with my number 3.
Yeah.
Stapleton. All right.
It's good. He's good.
Yeah.
All right. Kenny
There you
Chesney
go.
and Luke Bryan. I'm curious where we're going to
Yes.
go with this third one, Deb.
So my next one is I'm trying to figure out which oh gosh, it's a toss up between either one of these, but I don't want you to pick this one. So I'm going to go with somebody who, he has a huge cult following and he is super talented. And when
Jim Denny.
No, not Jim Denny.
The Denny
Remember,
Eds?
I took Jan, who used to work with us in marketing. I took her to his concert, and when he came on, she stood up and just started doing this and going, "Yeah!" screaming. And I had never seen her like that before. I thought, "Oh my gosh, he moves people like this." But it's Eric Church.
Oh,
man.
yeah. Good.
Oh.
Oh, that's a
Sorry
great
about
one.
your luck, Cash.
Thought he was going to make it through.
That's a good pick, Deb.
That is a really good pick.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's a good show.
He
We gotta-
sings, he performs with passion, does he not?
It's
Like-
him
Well, unless
for
you're in
3
San
hours
Antonio.
straight.
I'm just saying, I feel it when he
Yeah.
performs. I feel it.
Man, this may be an exercise when we're done, but we can total up what the cost for this.
Oh,
We got
Oh,
Kenny
wow.
Chesney
Yeah.
on the lineup, Luke Bryan, Eric Church, like
Garth Brooks, forget it. Yeah.
All right, Deb, you're back to back. So you got Kenny Chesney, Luke, and Chief Eric Church. Who do you got with your fourth pick?
Okay. I hope you don't toss this one out because they left country music, but they're still writing for country music. But I was not a big believer until I saw this person perform. And it is
Yeah.
a
I knew you were gonna
production,
say.
and they change costumes a million times, and they put their all into it. And that would be Taylor Swift.
Oh,
sure.
boy.
Oh, we'll count that. Absolutely.
I mean, I feel like I worked out after you watched a Taylor Swift performance. Jim, Kevin, and I went and watched together. And when we left, we all said, okay, we get it now. We
it's
didn't
almost like a
understand.
Broadway show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I think for
Oh.
a festival, she would keep people quite entertained.
Man, that is such a good pick.
So does that
I-
count?
That is.
Yeah, I count that. I mean, her first 2-3 albums were all charted country, and she
Yep.
still
She
sings
was
them. Big part of her show. still.
Entertainer of the year.
That's right.
This is the
Yeah,
best
yeah,
part of
so-
my senior year, whatever that acceptance speech was. I love that. This is the highlight of my 18th
How many of us
birthday.
can
Hey.
say that?
Yeah, I didn't write her down, but that's because she's obviously such a in the pop world since
Big
Yeah.
crossover,
past
yeah.
long
But
time.
she does still write currently for country
Yeah.
music.
Yeah.
So she's been nominated recently, actually. So
All right, so back to me. Man, there's a lot that I really want to go with here because I'm thinking about the show. All right, Luke Combs, Carrie Underwood, Chris Stapleton. This is going to be probably more of a crowd pleaser as well, because there are just so many songs, and there's a way you can kind of change the vibe of your show. You don't want to be too rock or too twangy unless you're Jim, or too pop country. We kind of want to touch a lot of the different bases. So I'm going to go with my fourth pick. I'm going to go with the Zac Brown Band.
oh,
man.
shoot.
Yeah.
All right. Take him on my list.
Rob, totally Rob.
Yeah. You go to his show, and even if you're not a fan of country music, you'll walk away loving.
Yeah.
Anybody can go to Zac Brown Band show and walk away thrilled.
It's the
Yeah.
best
You're
concert I've
singing
ever
along.
attended,
Yeah.
ever.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep. All right, Jim. We got
I'm
King
right next
George,
to you.
AJ, and Shania Twain. You got
I know who he's
him,
picking next.
snake to
Got a
work
good little list there. A good little list for the Proud Hawaiian Hats and Hair Tour, the spirit of the 90s. This guy he's funny, tells a great story, is a great host, one of the finest guitar players around, and what a voice. Vince Gill.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
He wasn't on my list, so it's okay. I like Vince. Don't
he
get me
mentioned-
wrong.
he's
but-
great up there. I
But,
mean, he's got
he's
so many
moved on to
hits.
the Eagles and all that, so he wasn't on my list. But I love
Yeah.
Vince. Don't get me wrong.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
the way you
does tell great
described
stories.
him, I thought you were going with somebody else there.
I did
Really?
too for a moment. Somebody
Yeah.
might be on my list.
Yeah,
I
mine
think-
too.
I'm not gonna say. I know. I have an idea of who a lot of you guys have, but when you started that buildup, I was like, I wonder where you're going. Okay, we got Kev next. We've got Garth. We've got Keith. We've got Tim. That's what I love about country music. You can just say one name and who you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah. Well, and you just say this guy's first name and you know who I'm talking about too. Blake Shelton. Great act.
Dang it.
Funny
Dang
in
it.
between songs, great ad libber. We've been to many of his shows and never been disappointed. He's a knucklehead in country music, but we love him. So Blake Shelton would be my fourth act of my seven. And
Dang it, Kev.
I know. So you guys had him on your list too?
I did.
I went
Yeah.
back and forth between him and Zac Brown, like
Yeah.
back and forth and back.
Yeah.
And forth, but
Yeah.
and you also get Gwen Stefani with your pick. I don't think
You
they're
do.
ever
She's gonna be at the
perform separately
show.
ever again.
Yeah. Now what's interesting that I think people forget how many hit songs Blake had. They might just remember him as being the host. But yeah, he's had a lot of good ones. Okay, my next one, and I have to maybe be careful where I place them in the order of the actual festival because this could cause a problem. But my number 5 pick is the former Mrs. Blake Shelton, Miranda Lambert.
Oh, crap.
So
Going for controversy. All right.
yeah,
Wow, that'll be a
I
show.
may have to kind of move
Yeah.
the lineup. Their tour bus is parked over here, her tour bus is parked over there. I don't know, but Miranda is definitely on my list.
You
too.
robbed 2 from me, Kev.
Hey, once again, those are names that you just say the first name, you know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Miranda.
Mm-hmm. Man, these lineups are pretty great. I like this. Is
We'd
going
go to
fun.
all of our shows, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really good.
I
you
feel
give me
bad for
free
the direct support. They're never getting the stage.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if Jim goes with who I thought he was talking about.
We're going to go through this one
last
here.
time.
Okay, too. This is someone. This is that she.
Yeah, I know who
can
you're going
sing,
with.
She can act. She's
Yep.
an entertainer.
Oh, come
She was
on.
big in the
All right.
70s.
Yeah.
She was big in the 80s.
One
in
name.
the 90s. And all you need to do is say, welcome, Reba.
Reba. I
That's
knew
right.
it.
That's right. Good pick,
Reba
Jimmy.
McIntyre.
That's
Yeah,
a good
baby. What a
pick.
show we got working
My
here.
list is getting slim.
You'll be all right.
Oh, goodness.
Then the It's may make your list after all.
I know. I'm a little concerned. They may be my next.
Well, pick your dates early.
Okay. Luke Combs, Carrie Underwood, Chris Stapleton, Zac Brown. This next pick is going to be more of a personal one because, as you know, the country music world is special in that you really are able to form a bond with the artists. You know, it's not like rock or pop where there's not that connection. You know, you get to see these guys when they come through radio tour, and then you see them as opening acts, and all of a sudden they're the biggest thing in the world. And they still know who you are. They still know your name. This lady put out one of the best albums I've ever heard in the last year. I am a huge fan of hers. I love her voice, and she's been nothing but sweet through the years. My number 5 is Carly Pierce.
Oh,
Boycott. I'm leaving.
Yeah. Cash, you've always had a thing for Carly,
I
though.
knew that.
That is personal. You have a
Yeah.
little crush on Carly, I think.
Oh, of course.
I think she has a
mean,
crush
she's-
on him. Yeah.
No, just friends. She's just, the talent is there. I mean, that album, seriously, like I can't remember the last time I bought a CD, but I legit bought her CD and had it in my car. The 29 written in stone.
Mm-hmm.
It's some good stuff, man.
It is good. I listened to it all the way to Florida and back. Of course, we drive.
did
so
you?
That's a long time. Yeah. And all of the songs
Good.
are so good. And her voice, now when I hear her songs, I know it's her. So she has that distinctive voice, which is, I think, what any artist would strive for. So she is very talented.
Yep. All right. Well, Deb, you are up next. You got your 5 and your 6 now that your list has kind of been torn
Well,
a bit.
I would like to point out I had Blake Shelton. I had, who's the other one you picked, Kevin? You picked 2 in a row.
I picked Miranda.
I had Miranda on my list. I
You
had
also took
Carly on
Keith.
my list. So thank you. Oh, I also had Keith. So you guys have stolen like half of them. But let me delete Carly. Delete. I am going to go with somebody who we first saw perform in Nashville. And no, it might not be who you're thinking. We've seen a lot of people perform.
I know
it may not
it
be who
is.
you're thinking of. And it was years ago, and he was very, very young. And he said he knew being a college kid was not for him. And it's Thomas Rhett. He is a performer. He has
He's
so
on.
many hits, and he not only that, but on top of being a performer, he is such a good guy. And I remember going backstage with some of our listeners before who had won meet and greet passes, and this is maybe his second year out, and his manager announced to everybody, please no grabbing him, no kissing on the cheek, no touching him. And they didn't say it to be rude, but it was his request to be respectful to his wife. And I just thought that was pretty cool. So he's a good person all the way around. He'll be a great performer. So Thomas Rhett.
That's pretty good.
Mhm.
All right. Kenny Chesney, Luke Bryan, Eric Church, Taylor Swift, Thomas Rhett. I guess that's a decent lineup so far. Deb,
Yeah.
you're up again. Number 6. Who do you got?
Oh gosh. Okay. This is kind of tough. Thomas Rhett. Okay. I have a few here, but I'm getting down. We're only picking 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm down
2
to
more.
2.
Yep.
Oh gosh. Okay, so I'm gonna go with a group that I think is very solid. It's a group, and we're all big fans. We probably interviewed them as many times as we've interviewed Rascal Flatts. I mean, they're probably the close second, but I think Lady Antebellum, Lady A is what they're known as now. So Lady A would be my pick for number 6.
That's good. That's a good
Good
call there.
pick.
They
Yeah.
are good.
Did you guys
Great
have
harmonies.
those? Did you have them on your list?
They're on my list. Not anymore.
I was
Good.
I was a little nervous because I have a group down too that I thought you were going to go with, and I know that
Okay.
you've interviewed them quite a bit. But I still say, because the 4 of us have been to a lot of shows over the years, and still what ranks near the top, you know me, I like to rank top 5s. Easily in my top 5 live performances I've ever seen ever by an act, by an artist, by whoever. Was back in, I think, 2015 when I saw them opening for Luke Bryan. And my number 6 pick is Little Big Town.
Oh, good.
Great
Yeah.
harmonies.
The harmonies,
Man,
their original songs, all the covers that they do. When they cover Fleetwood Mac's The Chain, it's just the goosebumps that you feel. You feel the bass and the guitar solo there towards, and just, it's incredible. They put on an amazing show. You can stick them out there with all these other artists. Like, they could come out and sing with Carrie. They could come out and jam with Stapleton. And
didn't they sing with Nelly one time? Didn't they sing with Nelly?
I'm sure everybody. I mean,
yeah.
and they also kind of transcend. They've gone into the pop world a little bit.
Mhm.
They've done a little rock. They can do some funk. They just do it all, and they're really, really good. So LBT, my number 6.
Yeah, good pick.
Good one.
That is a good one. Yeah, I forgot about them.
He's still talking like a DJ.
That's all right. They weren't in '90s act, so
They really
were
were.
on
They
Gen-
were. Yeah,
They were in high school back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Are we back to the Franzi Wine?
Yeah.
We are back.
Franzi Wine hats in here tour the spirit of the 90s and talk about groups. I thought we needed a group for this show because we got George Strait, Alan Jackson, Shania Twain, Reba, Vince Gill. So let's throw in a group. One of the best. Let's talk about harmonies.
I know who you're going to say.
Harmonies groups of all time. They are great pickers too. They can play the music. They don't need to have a bunch of people around them. They are from mostly from Ohio, and their first number 1 song, the first time they ever heard themselves on the radio, was on WFMS.
That's right.
And the song that they heard on WFMS was a song called "Meet in the Middle." And I'm bringing on Diamond Rio.
They're good.
And little fun fact, when Jim played that song, he used to back announce it by saying "Diamond Rio, meet in the middle," which is my favorite kind of sandwich.
Meet in the middle.
And that joke,
The one with meat
never
in the
gets
middle.
old.
That's solid. I like that one a lot. I hadn't heard that.
Many hits. So many hits. I'm telling you what, folks, you won't even want to go to the bathroom on this one. Bring your Depends.
What? Oh, that could have been a sponsor.
Oh,
Yeah, for this 90s tour.
You don't even leave your seat.
wow.
Although I don't want to be standing next to you. Oh my.
This is actually kind of great. You know how like in an NFL draft, there'll be like a run of running backs or a run of quarterbacks taken in a row, like
Yeah.
group.
Yeah.
This is kind of how that's going. So Kev, we've
Yep.
got Garth, Keith Urban, Tim, Blake, and Miranda. We'll adjust the lineup afterwards.
Yeah, if we have
and
to,
keep them a
yeah.
little separate.
Yeah.
Number 6, who do you got?
Probably I've already got Keith Urban as a fantastic guitar player. The next one on the list is another great guitar player and great performer, and just generally a funny guy. Brad Paisley will be my next
that's a good
act.
one.
That's who I thought Jim was taking.
Yeah, that would have been. I think is that number 6? 1, 2, 3, 4,
Mhm.
5. Yeah, that's 6. Yeah.
So,
Brad, I love
Brad
Brad.
Paisley. Yeah, Brad's great. And again, a ton of songs, ton of hits. You may forget half of them. He starts playing them. Go, I remember that song. You can sing along. And if you're ready for my number 7,
Ready.
this is it. This is a young lady who I think has been ignored in general by country music radio, and I think it's wrong because she's got one of the best voices around, and that's Casey Musgraves.
Yes.
I
I knew you were going to say
Yeah.
that.
That was my 7th pick.
If you've never stopped and just listened to some Casey Musgraves music,
Yeah.
you will not be disappointed. She has just this
Soothing.
very unique voice. It's beautiful.
It is. Yeah.
So anyway, Casey Musgraves would be my 7th act of my Tractor Supply Tour show.
She'd have been great on the 90s tour. Darn it.
I think you peeked at my list this morning, didn't you? You cheated. You peeked at my list.
No. Casey Musgraves would not be on your 90s tour, Jim. She was in junior high then.
Well, I know. That's why I said she'd have been really good on it. Could she not be a little older?
All right, we've got George Strait, Alan Jackson, Shania Twain, Vince Gill, Reba McEntire, Diamond Rio. This is it's like reading one of those best of 90s country, the
Yep.
Now
Mhm.
CDs.
Mhm.
Tell me you won't have your head on and a big buckle. I'll see you there. Okay, what am I on 7 here?
This is it. Last pick, number 7. Who do you got?
This is really, really tough. This is the one that's been really difficult for me. But I thought this would be a great show opener. This artist, he's an actor. He's a singer, and he had one of the biggest country hits of all time. And I know he wouldn't want to open the show, but I don't think that anyone could open the show except for Achy Breaky Heart and Ray Cyrus. Don't tell my heart.
Break it, heart.
Crowds are screaming, going crazy.
Hey, I'm working on my very own mullet, by the way, just so you know.
Yes, you are.
Actually, you're not
man.
far.
Yeah.
You're not far.
Yeah, that's a show right there.
You know what? That's a crowd pleaser, Jimmy. That's
Yep.
a crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
Billy Ray Cyrus is your number 7. I'm really surprised.
Well, he's
I'm
going
not
to
gonna
open.
lie.
I want him to open because once he does that achy breaky heart, I saw him at Fanfare one year do that, and it was now it was the 90s, but
Yeah.
he did that. I mean, people were screaming. He was doing that dance thing in his tennis
Yeah.
shoes, and the mullet was a flying in the Tennessee wind, and it was it's like he brought that crowd to his knees. So he just needs to come play the one.
Yeah. That's great. Everybody knows the song.
So
Oh,
who
yeah.
did you not get? We no Dwight Yoakam, no Clint Black.
Dwight, Clint.
Yeah.
The show's okay. This is part 2 of the
Yeah,
show.
Faith Hill. I thought Faith would be on your
Ooh,
list.
yeah.
I had Martina on there too.
Oh,
Yeah,
Martina,
man.
yeah.
The
I had
90s, man, they were just
Hey,
the best.
But I wanted a little bit more excitement, so I thought Billy Ray just as an opening one there. So, but if he can't make it, he probably won't. Martina's in there.
Yeah.
And not Miley. Okay.
Right. So
All right.
Mm.
I like the list. We've got Luke Combs, Carrie Underwood, Chris Stapleton, Zac Brown Band, Carly Pierce, and Little Big Town are my 1 through 6. And this is tough because I actually, as most of you guys did too, wrote down a real long list to draw from. And I've still got Dirk Bentley, and I've got Darius Rucker and Brantley Gilbert, just incredible headliners. Kelsey Ballerini also has a ton of hits. But I think I've got to go with, again, this is my festival, so it's going to represent what I like to hear.
That's right.
And
Don't you want to sell tickets? I mean, you don't want to be the only one there.
I think we'll be okay with who we have on the lineup. I think we'll have no problem selling tickets. And I love the guitar. I love some solos. and just some good tunes. So I'm going to put in the 7 spot. I actually didn't write them down. I had them in my head, but I didn't want to forget anybody. I'm going to go with Brothers Osborne at number 7.
oh yeah.
I
They're
mean,
good.
Yep.
TJ's voice and then John's guitar, just the amount of solos that he can do. I mean, imagine Zac Brown, John Osborne, Chris Stapleton, and Luke Combs.
There's some jam in there.
In a row.
Yeah.
And then you've got Carly and Carrie and Little Big Town's voices behind, like when they all come out to do, mountain music or whatever the big jam is, will be at the end of a big hit, I'm sure. That would be an incredible show. And I just think they would bring the fun, and yeah, it's going to be a good time.
That's a good one.
Show.
They're super talented. There's so many. That's the problem in country music. Not that it's a problem, but it's hard to choose. Because
That's why we capped it at 7 each. That's what makes it. If we all picked 15, we'd be like, all right, who do I get with the 14th pick?
But even at 7 each, there's still so many left off the list, off of all of our lists.
You're right.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
in fact, after we're done, before we do our legend, could we mention maybe honorable mention? Because I got a couple that have
Of
yet
course.
been mentioned here.
Yeah,
Go ahead and do your
absolutely.
final
I've got a
pick,
couple
Deb.
too.
Yeah.
Okay, so my 7th pick.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough because I go for who has good songs, but who also is a good performer. You can have good songs and not really keep the crowd's audience, keep the audience captive. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So I'm looking for somebody who would be across the board an excellent performer. Jason Aldean is. So it was tough between Jason
Oh, yeah, he
Aldean.
didn't make it
Maren
today.
Morris was a tough one. I was trying to think, but you mentioned earlier this person, and I have been to several of their shows. Every time it's something different. Every time this person puts in 100% of their effort. And I also love that when we are backstage, they literally stop our conversation and move us to the side stage because they insist that we watch their opening act. And I think that, again, is super
Mhm.
respectful. So character also plays a role in this, and it's Dirk Bentley.
I knew.
Yeah,
But
Yep,
isn't he
great.
his own opening act?
Oh,
Yeah.
well, yeah.
On Country Nights.
With the
Oh,
funny
that's
band.
I insist you go watch my opening act, which is me.
No, it's the other opening acts.
Right.
But
That's true.
he's
great.
made a comment that they've worked hard to get to this opportunity, this spot in their
Yeah.
career, and I want to make sure that we'll talk side stage. And I just think, oh my gosh, how cool is that he's cognizant of that. So
All right. Well, we'll go back through it. We had Kenny Chesney, Luke Bryan, Eric Church, Taylor Swift, Thomas Rhett,
Wow.
Lady A, and Dirks Bentley.
What a
Deb,
show.
Wow.
great lineup.
Yeah.
Any honorable mentions that didn't quite make the cut?
well, I mentioned Maren Morris and Jason Aldean. And we're also big fans of Jimmy Allen, who can work the stage. And I think he's multi-talented.
It'd be a fun show.
He's done collaborations with people in different formats. So I think that he could, do covers and keep people very entertained.
We
He's
saw him early on in
quite
his career
funny.
too, and knew he had that it factor. We're
Yeah,
like,
he was at the Hard
this
Rock
guy's gonna be a
Cafe,
star. Yeah.
and we thought this guy, he just signed a label, and we thought this guy's going to make it. And we told him that we said that when we interviewed him for the first time, like a year later. He goes, "No, you didn't." I said, "Yes, we did." And now look at him.
Anybody else?
Yeah. Well, I love Chris Young, and I would love to put him on my list, but ran out of artists. So Chris Young or Brett Eldridge, either one of those two.
Oh, I love Brett Eldridge.
Both have really good traditional voices.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they really do.
Oh, I need to give my sponsor one more mention on the Deborah Honeycutt tour, sponsored by Lockmasters. If your keys get lost, we're cheap on cost. I forgot. I promised them 2 mentions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if your keys get lost, it's fine as long as you have Franzia wine. So it's all
Okay.
good. Brooks and Dunn. I'd throw Brooks and Dunn. I couldn't.
Yeah, you got to have them on your
yeah.
90s tour
Oh
somehow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Morgan Wallen. I mean, there's a reason he had so
Oh,
many hits
God. This could go on forever.
with that
yeah.
voice. Yeah.
I mentioned a couple of the ones. That's the thing here is these are all 28 total picks. These are all headliners, So
Yeah.
I think it's important that we do shout out some of the openers that are out
Yeah.
there now. Scotty McCreery, I think, is
Mm.
amazing. Got a
Love
great
his
voice. Russell Dickerson, when you talk about energy and
Mhm.
pure passion on stage, is great. Riley Green has a great traditional
Yes.
sound to his songs.
And he's smoking hot.
And then one
Loud voice.
I didn't mention it. I was wondering if Jim was going to take him with his 90s tour because he's a little more back in the day, but he's written a ton of hits. David Lee Murphy, I think
Oh, yeah.
Dust on the
Oh,
Bottle.
yeah,
has
Dust
to
on the
be
Bottle,
a song
yeah.
that is sung
Yeah.
at the festival, even if he can't be there. Like it's got to be on the list of covers that gets covered.
I'm pretty sure that he played our fan jam years ago at the Marion County Fairgrounds.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've been told. I wasn't old
Yeah.
enough, but I do remember that.
I remember that. I mean,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
told that too, Jim.
Yeah,
Can I-
he's great writer.
Can I give a vote for somebody who I think is going to be like female vocalist in possibly 1 to 2 years, but I think she's going to be the next big thing. And I'm a huge fan, and that's Gabby Barrett.
Gabby's got a voice. Yeah, she
Yeah,
does.
she's got pipes. And I think
Mhm.
that, I compare her a little bit to Carrie Underwood because I just think she's very talented, and I love her music.
Well, it's
Mhm.
important
Yeah,
too,
cool.
like you said earlier, when you hear the voice, like immediately you can like, oh, that's Carrie, or oh, that's Gabby, or
Yep.
that's Carly. Lainey Wilson also has a very
Yes.
distinct, distinct voice in the talk in the female category. Ashley McBride, yeah, we could do this for hours, Jimmy.
Oh, I
right?
love Ashley McBride. And
Yeah.
Justin Moore. I love Justin Moore. He never gets nominated, and it makes me angry, but I like Justin Moore.
He made you eggs and pancakes.
Oh, at the Waffle House
Yeah,
Right.
after a
right.
concert. Yeah.
We also passed up on our first interview chance with him too. We were walking out of
That's
a
your
recording
fault.
studio in Nashville, and we're like, we were done. And they're like, hey, there's one more artist. I'm like, oh, we'll get him next time. We
He'll
didn't know
never
who he
make
was
it.
at the time.
He'll
but
never
yeah.
make it.
Yeah, he's shorter
I
than
love it.
Kevin. How can he make it? Yeah.
And the true story, we did that exact same thing
Yeah.
with Taylor Swift. Very first time she walked up, hi guys, I'm Taylor. She's like, well, she
12.
was little because she was 12, and
12.
still like 6
Yeah.
foot. But she walked up and she said, would you guys want to interview me? I'm here with my mom. We just unplugged everything and we walked away and we're like, bless her heart. She's working hard. She's never going to make it.
Well, because she was backdooring it. Her and her mom, they weren't going through the normal list of artists coming by. She kind of was
Mhm.
waiting, and when you walk by, she'd jump out at you and say, hey, will you talk to me? So, hey,
Startled us.
little did we
That's
know.
why you take every interview.
Little did we know
learn.
that she'd someday end up on Deb's list.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah.
Kevin
Festival
apologized.
music
Kevin apologized to her.
All right.
I think I did.
Before we wrap up, let's do our legend pick real quick. This is somebody that is going to be, if we could bring them back from the great beyond, we would. Maybe we can honor them or sing their songs. Who is our legend pick? Who has passed away, a country legend? Who's on your show? We'll start back in the order. Kev, number 1, who do you got?
Boy, there are so many, and there's so many classic country artists that have passed, and so it'd be easy to pick from one of those. But I'm going to go with more of a mainstream country artist that has passed. That when we interviewed him, he was very, very nice. He was actually eating a breakfast sandwich from, I think, McDonald's. I don't remember what, but Kenny Rogers. I think Kenny Rogers, again, all of his songs. He was kind of pop country. But I would put Kenny Rogers on the list.
Do it,
Yes.
do it, Jimmy. Do it.
Lady.
No, it's deeper.
No, it's kind of high really with him.
Well, I mean, but you do it deeper. Lady. Oh, you ruined it.
Yeah.
Is it dude lady? But he's not Richard Sturban or something like that.
Actually, Kevin, can you come to me last? Because that was my pick. So now
Was
I gotta,
Kenny? Was Kenny your pick?
Yeah, you know
Yeah.
what?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
he shattered all of what you would think about somebody who, in my opinion, is a legend.
Yeah.
So when we went in to interview him, it was like
A little
talking to the
nervous.
guy at CVS. You know,
Yeah, we were
all
a little nervous about it. Yeah.
And he was just sitting there with his breakfast burrito from McDonald's, and you would have just thought he was anybody else. And that impressed me. So I liked the fact that he was just like the guy next door, and he was asking us about our lives. And so
And he was eating a breakfast sandwich
and
from
eating a breakfast
McDonald's or
burrito from
Burger King or something. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. All right, Jim.
The greatest country singer of all time, Kev, you know exactly what I'm going to say.
Yeah. Mama tried.
Is Merle Haggard. Merle Haggard, without a doubt.
yeah.
But I will throw in here too. I wish this guy would have lived longer because he was just starting and he was absolutely huge. And that is Keith Whitley.
Yeah.
Keith Whitley came in and then I played with him in bluegrass back in the years when he was Ralph Stanley and he was with J.D. Crowe in the New South. Just had incredible voice. So if you ever look that up somewhere, look for Keith Whitley. We missed out when he passed away. But the greatest country singer of all time is the Hag.
Yeah.
You've met Merle Haggard,
I did.
and you got a picture with him, and Jim was like a little kid in a
Oh.
candy shop.
Okay. Do we have time to tell our favorite and Jim, you tell it, the Rascal Flatts Merle Haggard story.
Yeah.
Jim, tell it.
Well, Merle was playing out at the it was a little bit of Texas then, or 8 seconds.
Yeah,
Oh,
8
no.
seconds.
or something.
And Rascal Flatts was like, they were doing an opening act, or no, they were just there because they'd already had a couple of hits, and they're out in the bus, and they're like, "We're out here with Merle Haggard."
This is cool.
And Jay's got an earring in there, and their hair's all up there like that.
Lots of moose.
So what do you boys do? Well, we're in country music. That earring, you're not. That ain't country music. That's the Hag.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that's great.
Merle
I didn't
Haggard.
know
And they
either.
loved it. They thought, because at the time they had an earring. They don't know if they have it anymore now. But anyway, they thought it was great that they were chastised by the legend
Yeah.
Merle Haggard.
Oh, that's like getting like Rickles. I mean, that's an honor.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. I'm trying to think of a legend that Deb would pick, so I can pick him first.
Yeah, that's the fun part, isn't it?
First. No, actually, I've got one that I don't think Deb would pick, but I could be wrong. Maybe not necessarily super mainstream as some of the country legends that have passed, but one that I've always just kind of had an affinity for. I love the voice, love the songs. There's some like urban myth, there's some legend to his story. Great movie that came out in 2005 after he passed, Walk the Line. But my pick is Johnny Cash.
Sure.
He's my legend for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I knew
What
you were
a
going to pick
story.
Johnny Cash, so I went to my backup. But Johnny Cash, obviously, a top pick. I actually thought Jim might pick, but I forgot about your
Yeah. I knew
fondness
Merle was
of,
coming.
of Merle. Yeah, I forgot about that. So I would like to pick Patsy Cline. I do love her music.
Crazy.
That's a
Yes.
good
Yeah.
one.
I fall to pieces. It sounds just like her, right?
Oh my gosh, she's here.
She's here.
Sound like somebody rolled over the cat's tail.
Hey, see what I put up with. This is why Cash left. He got tired of me being brutalized every day by my
Sorry.
co-hosts. Again, Deborah Honeycutt Tour, sponsored by Lost Masters. If your keys get lost, we're cheap on cost.
Always get the sponsor in there.
Throw
That's
it in.
great.
Yeah, when in doubt, give the sponsor.
That's gonna be what I pull for the promo, by the way. That's gonna be that's so good.
I wish I was really being paid because I nailed it.
You really did. I was proud. I cried
Thanks.
for any reason you want to pick.
I don't know about that.
All right, guys, we'll go ahead and wrap up. Where can people hear? I mean, I know this, but I want you guys, one of you can tell us where we can follow you on social media. Where can we hear you? Where can we find the shows? All that good stuff.
You can find our podcast. Go to our podcast. In fact, anything you missed on the show, we throw it up there before the show's even over. So kudos to Kevin. And just look it up on Apple Podcasts or whatever format you follow. So you can listen to Jim, Deb, and Kevin really all day long if you'd like.
Yeah,
you can also follow WFMS, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, our website, WFMS.com. And I think did we miss anything, guys?
Your
Obviously, we're
MySpace,
on-
your live journal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're on
Jim's
the
on
air.
MySpace still. I forgot about that.
We're on the radio air too every
Oh,
week.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Well,
Monday
that's
through
good.
Friday.
He said social. He said
beginning
Monday
of
through
social.
5.
Saturday. We're on Saturday
through
now.
Saturday. We start at 5 a.m. Don't forget to tip your waitresses and try the veal.
That's right. Saturday, it's JDK Saturdays, and that's 10 to 2. So join us all over the weekend.
Mhm.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for taking the time.
Thank
to
you
do
for
this.
having us, man.
Yeah,
You
this
know.
was
Yeah,
a lot of fun. Thank you.
We noticed, by the way, you've had your podcast for a little while, and you've every other guest
Now, what's
on.
the deal? We kept saying, when's Cash going to ask us?
We never got
I
invited.
don't-
A few months ago, he called. He goes, "Hey, you have plans on
Who
Tuesday?" I go,
canceled on you, Cash?
"You want me to be a guest on your podcast?" And he said, "No, I just want to know if you want to go to lunch." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, appreciate
Carly Pierce canceled on me. So I
Yeah,
thought
that's
I'd
what
help
it
you.
was. Yeah.
Oh.
I can always call JDK. They'll go on no problem. No one wants to talk to them.
We're their backup. We're the backup plan."
All right.
Thanks, Cash.
Thank
Talk
you
to
for
you guys
having
later.
us.